What's up, guys? This is your girl Coco, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Kikiing with Coco. If you are new to the show, let me just tell you a little bit about it. Basically, my friends come on the show and we kiki about whatever the topic of the episode is. Um, and we talk about life in general with an emphasis on relationships. A lot of the stuff that we cover is definitely stuff that's going on in the media right now. It's stuff that you can relate to. So, get your people, get your girls, get your guys, get y'all drinks and let's get into it. So, this week I have with me Tiara. Tiara is like a jack of all trades and she does hair, she do makeup. She does a lot of things beauty, but as a woman, I think she was good to have on the show this week to just discuss the stuff that's going on in the media as far as being able to speak about how Black women are not protected in our society. And yeah, so that's why she's here. Tiara, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? I know I gave them like a quick gist of what you do, but just kind of like tell them a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Tiara. My handle on Instagram is Tiara_Judith. Like Crystal said, I am a hairstylist, and I do makeup for myself. I don't really do makeup for everybody else just yet. And then, yeah, I'm very passionate about Black issues and especially Black women issues. So that's why I'm here to discuss this topic with. And thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for being on the show. And so she is somebody that when I come to the city and she can get out, she come turn up because
Okay, we coming to turn up.
her sister is actually Andrea, who is my best friend, who's been on the show before. So it's kind of like it's three of them, and they like the best of friends, and they all a good time. So the link up is always popping.
Yeah, we always say like our sister friends are our friends also. So
Exactly.
that's
So
why I said that.
I love hanging out with them. They like a good time. And that's the thing about having siblings when y'all so close in ages because
Mm-hmm.
y'all do hang out with the same people and just enjoy doing the same stuff.
Yeah, it's like priceless. The bond is priceless.
Definitely. So we gonna go ahead and kick this episode off with our drink with Coco. And I know that when I asked her, did she have like a recommendation? She like, I drink my liquor straight. Let me get some tequila with a lime. But I'm like, okay, girl. So what you drinking when you go to brunch? So she said a peach Bellini, and I think we can
Mm-hmm.
all say we like a good Bellini when we at brunch or whatever. If you're not drinking a mimosa,
Yes.
um, so I really like Bellinis. Like they sweet and it's just goodness.
Mm-hmm. The peaches with the prosecco, it just be right. I love it.
Exactly. So of course I'm gonna give y'all the recipe to it. So you want to do like 3 ounces of frozen, or you could do fresh sliced peaches if you fancy. Get you some peach schnapps, um, a half a cup of champagne because that's gonna be the majority of your drink right there, or prosecco.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, you want some like sweet and sour mix, grenadine syrup, and simple syrup, and some ice cubes. If like, especially if you're doing like fresh peaches, you want to be able to make it like the frozen drink. So the ice cubes are a necessity. So go ahead, try out this peach Bellini at home. Have you a sit down with your girls, y'all hanging out, make y'all some Bellinis. And that is going to wrap it up for the drink with Coco. And we're going to move into the word on the street. And so this week, the word on the street is it's so much stuff going on in the media right now, but I thought it was important to talk about the stuff that's going on with Ellen DeGeneres and the discrimination and sexual harassment claims that are being put out into the media right now. And I guess the shocking part about it is that Ellen, you know, she is this nice person. She want to do nice things for people. So you would think that she would create like a safe work environment for her employees.
Yeah, you would. That's something that you would think. And, sometimes when you think of Ellen, you think that she's somebody who is for the people. She represents the LGBTQ community. She's sensitive to needs of other demographics of people. So you would think that that's something that you wouldn't have to worry about when working with her. Any form of discrimination or harassment.
Exactly. And so some of the claims that's being thrown out there is pretty much like she knows that these things are going on and she's not or has not done anything about it. And one thing I know for sure is, I mean, you can't stop every instance of bad behavior, but if you
Right.
set the precedence from the top down that this is not going to be allowed, like people will be more apt to not do it if they really care about their job. Because to me, all of these claims are, terms for extermination from your job.
Yeah, termination for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, it's as simple as having a zero tolerance policy when it comes to things like that. And that's, you let these people know when they enter into this position, we have a zero tolerance policy for discrimination, harassment, sexual harassment, and that's the end of that. It's cut and dry.
Mm-hmm.
But when people are not being, and it's not like, of course you don't want to be micromanaged, but it's like when you're not really able to pay attention to everything, then some things will fall to the wayside. But I feel like that's something that should not, like, I just feel like that's something that shouldn't fall to the wayside at all.
It definitely shouldn't. Like, I think people should be able to come to work and feel safe or know that somebody is going to take up for them if they bring allegations of certain behaviors happening. So,
Right.
yeah. So I think and then also when you start a job, don't they make you like sign some type of paperwork saying that you agree to the terms as far as like the zero tolerance policy of discrimination and all that stuff?
Yep.
So, that's definitely grounds for termination. Like if you sign this paperwork upon receiving this job and then you violate it, then you violated a part of your contract.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
violation of the contract, and that's terms for termination. That's grounds for termination. So, or at least
exactly.
some type of reprimand. So I don't understand. Yeah, I don't. I just, it's unfortunate, but I don't want to say that I'm not shocked, but I'm not. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, I expected this. I didn't expect this, but I'm not surprised because it's just, this is the way of this country. Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And then I guess in response to everything that's going on, she's saying that she wants to just end the show altogether because she feels that it's ruining her brand or she won't be able to recover from the allegations that's going on. And it's just like, regardless of if you end the show or you keep going, I feel like unless you take an actual stance and say these are the steps that we are taking to correct this issue, like your brand is going to be tarnished regardless.
Yeah, if she does not speak up against what's being said about her, like to make it known that this is not something that she is okay with, yeah, her brand is going to be tarnished for sure.
Yeah, like ending the show is not going to keep your brand from being tarnished. Like, and your people should definitely be telling you, like, okay, of course we have to make public statements, but we also need to make a way to correct the issues that have been going on. And ultimately, you need to be setting up the investigation is already going, but basically like you need to be removing some people in the process of this investigation being done. And just like everything is going on with the Harvey Weinstein situation and the Bill Cosby situation, like you need to be putting these people on blast.
So, and I'm not really familiar with exactly what happened, but was it her? Was she specifically involved in mistreatment, or was it like people within her organization?
No, they're saying it's people within the organization.
Oh yeah.
So I definitely think that she need to make some public corrections in order to, maintain the image that her brand represents.
Mm-hmm. I mean, some people, of course, they're never gonna get over it. Like that's not nothing. That's not nothing that you can just forgive or walk away from. Like,
now, what I'm saying, her doing this is not going to remove the situation that happened or remove the emotional damage that is created for some of these people, but it can at least show them that she does care, and that maybe she, like, I and myself being in a leadership position, just wanting the people that work for me just do the right thing. And maybe that's what she was anticipating, but you are like, you just still need to be aware, and maybe just be like, this was a wake-up call that I need to be more involved with what's going on within the organization.
right.
Because being like, I don't know, is not okay. It's not a good enough response.
Yeah, it's like, and then the allegations, like, they not no light allegations. Like,
no,
they saying that they was uninformed of their pay status or employment status. Like, that's not cool. People have to live, especially during these times. So, and then if it's only a particular group of people that experience this, that makes it even worse.
Exactly. So, and I feel like maybe her statement should have been, I'm not, unfortunately, I have not been as involved, and so I take responsibility for, my employees maybe feeling like I didn't stop this behavior, but now that I am aware of it, I'm going to take steps to remove these individuals and in the future mitigate these things from happening. She need me as her publicist, child.
Basically.
Because I think that was good.
That was a statement right there.
Exactly.
That was
So,
a statement right there.
Ellen, do better, girl.
She got to do better.
And I feel like, especially being a part of the LGBTQ community, you should understand how discrimination makes people feel.
She should. And that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, like, be accountable for your actions and, take the steps to do better and be better.
Exactly.
And I feel like she's trying to find a scapegoat. Well, I'm just going to quit my show. No, you need to address the issue and you need to rectify it. Like, quitting your show is not going to change anything.
Exactly.
Because what can possibly happen is she'll quit that show and she'll go to a different platform, or she'll start, something new and bring in the same people, and it'll be the same thing all over again. No, you need to address the issues.
Because I feel like she had a talk show back in the 90s.
Yeah, I think she did.
I don't know what happened to that talk show, but then she popped back in the 2000s with another talk show. So just like you said.
Or maybe she was a host of some show. I would have to look that up because I'm not for sure.
I really think she had a TV show back in the 90s, if I recall. And I don't know what happened to that show. And I feel like she disappeared for a little bit and then popped up with the current show that she has. And it has done really well because it's been going on for 17 years.
Yeah, I mean, she is a comedian, so that would. She always, she's an actress. But
she want to quit this show, and maybe in a couple years when she think everybody done forgot, she want to pop up with a new show on another network. So, Ellen, just do better. Take accountability.
That's all she gotta do. Just take accountability and be better. Learn from this
and be better.
This mistake and be better. That's not saying that like it's cool. It's not cool. No. Especially if these were people of color. Let me just say, I feel like if they people of color, I really feel away. Not saying that I wouldn't care if it was any other type of people, but it just hit a little closer to home for me.
Yeah, if it's people of color, for sure. Yeah. So definitely do better, Ellen. And on to better things, we have Marseille Martin, who has also landed a new talk show. It's going to be called The Tiny Talk Show. And basically, I really think like as a young black girl, she is portraying black people in a more positive light than, you know, a lot of black females do as far as like the Instagram models or whatever. She's I think she is very positive, and I honestly hate that. Sometimes, you read the comments when you're on Instagram or whatever, and people will make comments like, this is a child. Regardless of how often you see her on TV or that she even has an Instagram platform, this is a child. Like, why you going in on this girl?
People, they just have their own insecurities that they are dealing with, and they are so happy to project it onto other people. When I tell you, I am so excited about this little show and whatever else this girl has planned, because everything she's done has been great. So far. Like, I just feel like she got her a good support system, a good little everybody who working up under her brand. They on point, because she's doing really good things, and I'm excited to see this show. But yeah, it's unfortunate that people even feel the need to come with some negativity about a child.
Definitely. I think her parents are definitely leading her, steering her in the right direction as far as just being a productive black woman in this society. And even though her, like, she started out, on a comedic television show, it's like she's showing you that she's more than just the comedic relief.
Right.
So I definitely cannot wait to see this show when it comes out. I think it's going to be really good to see her I guess, outside of her acting role and being more of herself.
And it's more intimate.
Yeah, because she says it's going to be like an intimate setting.
Yeah, a small scale show.
This grand production or whatever. And I think that's good for her just starting out.
Yeah, I think it's good. This is a good thing.
Yeah, and bringing voice to certain subjects and that's going on, whether it be stuff. I think a lot of it is going to hit on like important stuff that we need to talk about, but it's coming from a younger person.
Right. So it gives a lot of people a younger point of view. Especially people like older than us, older than, her, if they plan on watching, which I think they should. But it is good to get a younger person's point of view on a lot of issues. And I hope she do touch some tough issues, some, lighter issues. Just keep it broad, not just focus on one thing.
I think that's going to be super awesome for her. And outside of this TV show, the talk show, the Black-ish, I really cannot wait to see what other great things that she does.
Right.
And I can honestly say, I think the kids that are in the media now, I think they're doing I think their parents are doing a better job at raising more socially aware children versus we act and we young and we rich and we got money.
Right. I feel like this younger generation of people, like, they really pay attention to things that are going on in the world. Like you said, they're more socially conscious. They definitely pay more attention to mental health than our predecessors. Yeah, it's just I'm excited about this new generation of kids, because it's some wild ones, but we also have some very promising people coming up and coming into the industry, just all over the place, doing great things. So I'm excited about what she's doing.
Exactly, same. And so we're going to go ahead and take a little break before we move into the hot cup of cocoa. All right, guys. So we are back, and we are this week's hot cup of cocoa. we are talking about how basically Black women are not protected. There have been a few instances as of recently where I feel that Black women have just not been paid enough attention to, and just bring light that certain situations happen to us and it's kind of overlooked. And then when things happen on the back end of it, it's like, oh, well, we didn't realize. And it's just like, well, this person has been saying certain things and you've been ignoring it.
Right.
And so the first instance that I want to bring up, honestly, I am not a fan of Tamar Braxton, but I feel like my perception of her has definitely been steered from the TV show The Braxton Family Values. And honestly, I have not watched it in years, but when it initially started, I did watch it. And I was not a fan of Tamar. I feel like she was portrayed as a very selfish person. And basically, yes, all about me. And, but there are other siblings on this show who basically feels like she treats them, certain kind of ways, when in actuality, you only getting like a snippet of what is happening in their family.
So let me tell you what I think about Tamar, because I'm not really a huge fan of hers either. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you good.
But I'm not a huge fan of hers either. But I watched the episode of the Braxtons when she was talking about being removed from the real.
Mm-hmm.
And the way she broke down, like, I just felt like she really was really hurt and she was a fragile person. And I feel like because she is so fragile on the inside, she put up this big block. And that's what makes people think that she just a real selfish, it's all about me. Like, that's part of her wall that she put up to protect her fragile self.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. And I
'Cause,
totally get that.
yeah, like, she broke down on that episode. I was watching and Tony was there, like, consoling her. But I'm like, this girl really broke down and was crying about being removed from that show. Because she
Mm-hmm.
was just feel like she felt betrayed. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
But
And
this suicidal it's a, like, we really, and I'm just saying us as a society, like, we really have so much work to do when it comes to mental health.
mm,
Like, we are doing good things, but it's so much more work that we have to do.
definitely.
Because so many people suffer in silence, and it's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. And so if you guys haven't picked up or have seen in the media, Tamar recently tried to commit suicide, basically because how she is being portrayed in the media has affected her mental health in such a way that she has requested that the network that she is on remove her from her contract or what have you, because they've not been listening to her over the years. And so she wrote them this letter basically saying, like, I've requested on numerous of occasions to not be portrayed as the villain on the show, and you all continuously do it. And now I'm just really fed up and I'd like to be removed from the contract. But they ignored her. And as Tiara mentioned, it seems like she's in a very she's a fragile person to begin with. And so when you being viewed as something that you aren't, it can play on your mental health if you're already in a fragile state. And because of this, it caused her to try and harm herself. And I feel like it's definitely unfortunate that she got to that point, because she is a mother. Before anything else, she's a mother and has a child that needs her. And so it's just like, as a Black woman, as a woman in general, I can
Yeah.
sympathize with her in feeling like no one is listening to you.
Yeah. And then for her to be a mother and to feel like she wants to, commit suicide. And I'm not saying that all mothers are so like they have that motherly sense about them that they just would never do anything to harm their children.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like for her to get to the point where she wants to commit suicide and being a mother, she had to really be struggling.
Yeah.
Because that's not something you just come to lightly when you know you have a child that is dependent on you. That's not something you just come to lightly, like, oh, well, I'm just gonna kill myself. I mean, some people may, but I just don't see that from her.
Yeah.
Like from seeing her. And then she has been through a lot over the years, divorce, and like you said, the way she portrayed on the show, like that starts to tear down on a person.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a toll on you.
Yeah. Since she has, you know, since she has initiated the act, I guess you could say, I don't want to say like, you know, since she initiated the act of trying to hurt herself, the network did release her from the contract. But I hate that it had to come at the cost of her trying to hurt herself.
Right. So that brings me with another question. Like, did she try to hurt herself so that she can get out of that contract, or was she really dealing with something? And I'm not being insensitive to people with mental health issues or people who feel suicidal, but it's just like, I wonder.
Yeah.
That's all. It's just something that comes to mind. Now, of course, I'm very sympathetic to her needs because she's struggling.
Mm-hmm.
But it just makes you think. And then on top of that, why did it take, like, these people really don't care about us. Like, they care about the money and that's it. Yeah. And I'm not saying us as just Black people. I'm saying people in general. Like, these companies and corporations, they really do not care. They just care about their bottom line.
No, and I feel like that's also in addition to like the US opening up with the with COVID being so bad.
Yeah.
You're opening up because you're saying the economy is suffering. Oh, so the rich people can't get richer?
Mm-hmm. Because that's the only people that is assisting. And not saying that they don't need to open the country back up, but I'm just take it slow. And so COVID-19, coronavirus, that's something, it's just like the flu. It's going to be here. It's not going anywhere.
Yep.
So it's like we have to learn to live with it. And, I just got an email from my son's school. They're trying to figure out how these kids going back to school. And it's frustrating, but you still have to be able to live some type of normalcy, not what we had before. And understand that, yes, this disease is out here, it's real, but you still have to live with it and learn how to function.
And I'm okay with saying, like, we need to figure out a way to live. But then I also think that's where we need to take accountability and do our part to try and keep keep it from spreading. Mm-hmm. So like when I see people on social media just out and about, don't have no mask on, or people even complaining that they have to wear a mask, it's just like, we're never going to be able to get back to a place of normalcy because we can't do what we supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So,
and it's like that. It's wearing a mask is not the end of the world. It's really not.
It's not. Like, yeah, it may be tough to walk and breathe or whatever, but I would rather have a few minutes of being like, ooh, I'm tired, than be sitting up in somebody's hospital on my deathbed.
Mm-hmm. And people are really making it out to be worse than what it is. And I feel like they are getting better with the trying to, figure out ways to treat the virus, because I feel like we haven't heard of as many deaths as it was in the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's getting better, but it's something that we're going to have always. So like with someone dealing, with us dealing with these type of things, that plays a part in your mental health as well. Because, for so long, people were quarantined, stuck in the house, like literally can't go anywhere, especially in certain states. So it's like that plays a big part. And then we don't know what Tamar was dealing with. She probably was watching TV and watching herself and really was not happy with what she saw. Yeah. Because she knows this is not the person that she is.
Right.
So being in the house having to watch it, and then she like, nah, look, we gotta make some changes. And
Right.
people don't want to change. They don't want things to change when it's making them so much money, or they feel like it's going good right like this. We don't really need to change it, but it needs to be changed because it's affecting me in a negative way.
Yeah. And I definitely feel like if I'm voicing my feelings to you and I'm making you money, you should want to keep me happy.
I swear, to me, that's what makes sense.
Yeah. Like, okay, like I think y'all could still make money off of this brand if y'all didn't portray her as the villain. Because especially for the people y'all already got that are fans of the show, they going to support regardless.
Right.
Because I feel like it's so
If
many.
you're a true fan.
Yeah, if you a true fan, because I know I'm a fan of the Housewives of Atlanta, and Nene is probably could be one of the nicest people ever. But how they portray her on the show, you don't see that.
Well, I don't have an issue. I know people say they don't like Nene. Nene don't bother me. It's that Kenya that bother me.
Nene don't bother me either. I can't stand Kenya. Kenya get on my nerves
I cannot stand Kenya. Like, I'm just like,
because I feel like she really be trying to play the victim.
she really tries to play the victim, but she is so evil.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean stuff to people, and then she try to flip it and play the victim, and they fall for it. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's unfortunate, and it does have a lot to do with us being Black women, and they feel like we can take anything, any type of pain, and we'll be okay. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not the case. That comes with mental health also. Like, it's not right. It's just not right. Like, I hate that it's this way.
Mm-hmm. I think now it's becoming more of a conversation that Black women are putting it out there that, you know, I have feelings and these things hurt me. But I think for so long we've had to be strong
Mm-hmm.
because of circumstances that this is why everybody outside of Black women think that we can just take whatever.
Right. And we are still women. Like, at the end of the day, we are still women. We want to be able to be vulnerable. We want to be able to be soft. Like, we don't want to have to be strong all the time. It's exhausting.
Yeah, definitely.
And it takes a toll on your mental health.
Mm-hmm. It does. It definitely does. And so I can definitely sympathize with Tamar if that's what she, if that's how all of this, played out with her mental health, that, she just didn't like how she was being portrayed and not being listened to. Like, I think it's not a natural reaction to try and hurt yourself, but I think the concept of maybe your mental health deteriorating is a
Mm-hmm.
normal.
Right.
Yeah. So my prayers go out to her, and I definitely hope that, she can overcome this situation and, um, I think because she does have a show that is airing on that network still. I think it's called Get Your Life. And I'm not exactly for certain what it's going to be about, but
Is that the one? So that's not the one with the hairstylist.
I don't know.
Cause she have one with, like, she, um, confronting bad hairstylists, but that's the only show that I heard of her recently.
Yeah, and
And I haven't even had a chance to watch it.
that sounds about. I think from what you saying and the title of the show, it don't sound far fetched if that's what it is.
Yeah. It's not called Get Your Life though. It's
Oh,
not called.
well, she does have a show that's coming out. It's called.
Oh,
Huh?
you know what? I do wonder. What caused this lady to shave her head? Like, was she sick?
Uh.
I always wondered that. Like, what caused her to shave her head? Which, there's nothing wrong with shaving your head, but I just wanted to know, like, what happened to her?
I think she was just
Dealing with some mental health issues.
probably so.
Right. So this has been a long time coming. This is not nothing that just started happening.
Yeah. No, I definitely think this is something that has built up to what happened for
Mm-hmm.
sure. But yeah, so
Oh
We got,
yeah, To Catch a Beautician. That's the name of it.
huh?
The other one is To Catch a Beautician.
To Catch a Beauty.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
funny.
I think I'm gonna watch it, but I haven't had a chance to watch it.
But yeah, I might have to start watching that show or whatever because it sounds like it would be funny.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it does sound real funny.
mhm. And then next, so the next topic, or like a continuance of Black women not being listened to. There was a girl maybe about a week or two ago named Gloria Bambo, and she's a Black woman, and it was in Texas that this happened, McKinney, Texas. And I guess her roommate found her hanging in their garage or whatever. From what he's saying, he found her that way, and reports are saying that it's being the initial investigation is ruling it as a suicide, and they are, I guess, furthering the investigation to verify if there was any foul play. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but outside of the roommate, no other family or friends have come forward and said how her mental health was prior to the incident happening. But the roommate is saying that she was bipolar, I guess, prior to her being found hung. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not saying that being I'm not saying you can't commit suicide by hanging, because there are people that do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely, with this situation, like for them to really do an in-depth investigation, because I would hate for this to be ruled as a suicide when in actuality it could have been a someone actually did this to her. So I would definitely like to see more information being put out about this case. And I don't want them to just leave it as it's a suicide. Like, definitely, because once the investigation is complete, you can say what has been done during the investigation to say what was done to say what the ruling is or whatever. But
Right.
I definitely want to see more than just the initial investigation, to say, like, I need to hear some medical reports saying when this person was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Like, I really want to understand how this led to this.
So they said this girl was missing. She was missing July 9th. That's when she was first reported missing. So she probably was missing before then.
Right.
And they didn't find her until July 12th. And how did her roommate not know that she was in the garage? Like,
For 3 days.
this to me is definitely not a suicide case. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not an expert, but to me, it's not suicide. Like, this has happened plenty of times. Like, Black people are being lynched by white people, by racist
Hmm.
white people, should I say. It's not like this is not news. This is news, but this is not news. Like, we know that Black people are being lynched by racist white people.
Mm.
We know that Black women are oftentimes, disregarded by so many other groups of people. So her being missing for all those days, like, look how many Black women we have missing, even in our, like, in Chicago. It's so many Black women and Black girls missing, and nobody really caring about it.
Yep.
So it's like, I feel like if somebody was really investigating and trying to find this girl, they would know that she was murdered. You cannot tell me that this girl committed suicide. I don't
Yeah.
believe it.
I mean,
Until we get
definitely
some real
from,
medical evidence, I do not believe it.
yeah. Like, I definitely feel that's why I said I need an in-depth investigation report when it's all said and done. And because I personally don't believe it was just a suicide attempt, especially saying that she had been reported missing 3 days prior. And if
Yeah.
she was just in the garage, why you just not seeing her 3 days later?
I mean, have we seen, like, are there pictures of her hanging in that garage? What, like, this is
I
unbelievable.
haven't seen anything,
Right.
honestly, um,
Right.
that would say otherwise.
Yeah, I don't think this girl killed herself. I do not. This make me think about that story of that lady who was found dead in Georgia,
Mm,
Tamala Harsford.
mm,
Have you heard? So what happened is she went to her friend's house for a sleepover. She like a mother of five,
mm.
and she was black.
Oh
Everybody
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
all of
Mm-hmm.
them was white. And the next day, this lady was found dead on the back porch or something, or in the backyard.
Yeah, yeah.
And they just like, that's it. Like, we haven't heard nothing else. I'm like, what? They killed this lady.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. That story was crazy. Like,
It was so bizarre. And the
mm-hmm.
fact that they have not even like really been trying to investigate this, and it happened like a year ago, almost a year, I think.
And it's just now coming to the media.
Girl, no, this happened in 2018.
Too long ago.
Too long ago. So that's what I mean. How black women just and it's just like we gotta take care of us better.
Yeah.
We really gotta take care of us better because it's no way. Like I'd have been like, you gonna go with all these white people to a sleepover?
Right.
Sorry, I'm not that trusting in other people. I'm not that trusting in like black people who don't like me. So I feel like some white people, they might kill me. And that's not to say that all white people are like that, because I don't think that, but it's just,
You
I gotta be
definitely just
careful.
move a little bit more cautiously.
I feel like it's us, we definitely have to move more cautiously because everything that's happening in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially this
Definitely.
in 2020, we have seen it all. Like, everything that's
Mm-hmm.
happening, we gotta look who we have in the office.
Yep. Like
Supporting all
whenever
this
I
racism.
go somewhere, I definitely drop a pin. You know, I try and
Yeah.
tell my friends what I'm wearing. So
Mm-hmm.
they could be like, well, what does she have on? This, I send pictures. You know, I'm giving names. This is who I'm with.
Right. And you have to do that. And that it just make you think about how your parents used to be like, well, who you going with? And you be like, I don't want to tell. Why they asking all these questions? No, it's necessary. Now
It's
you know.
necessary.
It's
Yep.
for a reason.
But as a child, you don't be thinking like that. You be
No,
like,
you're not
yeah,
thinking
I'm
like
just
that.
trying to hang out with my
That was my
friends.
friends. Yeah, that's all you thinking.
Yep.
And no, it's for your safety.
Mm-hmm. It's for your whole safety.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, like all of these black people are disappearing. Do you watch The Shy?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, on The Shy or whatever, that girl is missing and nobody outside of her family and like the people who know her are looking for her. And
Right.
it's kind of just like, you know, if something turned up, something turned up.
So did you watch the last? I watched the episode that came out today, so we're not gonna discuss that one. But did you watch the last week episode?
Yes, girl. I ain't seen today's episode. I did see yesterday's episode, and I'm just like, what?
What
Like,
irritated me is when she got up out that building. Why this girl didn't take off running? You a track star.
right? Like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, no,
See,
bitch, don't
it's
worry
no
about no fresh
way.
air.
The
Run.
minute she got out there, I'm like, run. Like, what? You run. This is what you
Yeah.
do. You fast, girl. Get going.
Yeah. I'm like, you a track star, girl. Get the feet to moving.
And I'm just like, didn't she hear him coming down? He was upstairs running all up and through that house. She heard him when she was trying to get up out of there. So you knew he was coming, girl.
Yeah. Like he got a camera, girl. He seen you escape.
That had made me upset. I was upset at that. I'm like, what?
Yeah. I'm like, girl, why? No, this is not how you do this.
Mm-hmm. This is not what you do. But yeah, like the only people looking for this girl is her family and friends. And then on top of that, like when her mother and them went to go view that body of that other girl, who was looking for her?
Right.
It's just like nobody really looking
And they
or even
only got the
caring.
tip. They only got the tip because old boy went and harassed that one dude.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like with stuff like that, the people don't care enough because we don't care enough. It's like we got to put some more effort into finding people when they miss it or paying attention, especially to black women, paying attention to black women when they are going through something or struggling with something or dealing with something, because we can't be strong all the time. We
Definitely.
cannot.
Mhm.
Like, we are human people. We cannot be strong all the time. It's not biologically possible. So
Yeah. It is definitely not. Which also I feel like it's so many ways you can go with this conversation about how Black women are not listened to. Um, I know that I've heard women say, you know, I was experiencing pain during my pregnancy, like while I was in labor or whatever, and the doctor wasn't listening to me. Like I could have died if this didn't happen, or and I just think um the stigma that Black women can endure more pain than other women. I just don't understand where they got this concept from, because pain is pain.
yeah, pain is pain, but we all know this stuff dates back to slavery time.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
it definitely has to do with, you know, especially women slaves not wanting to show any type of pain or weakness, because we don't want the master taking anything from us that they done already took from us.
Yep.
So it's like, you just want to be strong. You want to tell your girls, don't be weak, don't be strong, because they'll take you from your people and put you where they want to put you.
Yep.
So it's unfortunate, but it and especially in the medical field, like, they really do not take us seriously, and it bothers me because I work in the medical field to an extent, and it's like, I have seen it happen, and it's not just, sometimes it's us, sometimes we do this to each other too.
Mm-hmm.
But I have experienced the racism. I have experienced doctors not believing the pain that I'm in and thinking that I'm drug seeking or something. And it's like, no, I'm really in pain. I would like to get to the root of my pain. I don't want any drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like I understand, like, there needs to be precautions when you giving out narcotics or whatever. But it's like, look at my medical history. You
Mm-hmm.
can tell that I'm not a drug user. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, come on, like, be real. There are other things you can do before you start judging me based off what I
Based off of, and just like I was telling you before about when I went to the hospital, and that for migraines, I went in for migraines, and the lady gave me medication that made me loopy. And I heard her, she was a white lady, telling another doctor, yeah, she just faked the migraine so she could come in here because she's drug seeking. And I'm like, I never, not once asked this lady for drugs. Like, I
Mhm.
told them, like, I have been given drugs and they have not helped me, so I don't even want that.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's unfortunate that we have to go through these things, but we have to start standing up for each other. And I feel like there are other, like, Black medical professionals, even other race of medical professionals who don't feel the same way. Like, they need to be calling those people out on
Hmm.
their BS. like, why would you do this to somebody just based off of their race?
Right. Hmm.
Yeah, it's not cool, because people die behind that stuff. People
Fact.
die behind not being believed, not understanding that we experience pain the same way everybody else do.
Hmm. Because that's what Serena Williams was saying, that when she was in labor, like, I guess she would, I don't know what exactly the issue was, but she was basically saying, like, he, I'm assuming, felt some type of pain and was seeing the doctor and almost bled out.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
go ahead.
no, you can go ahead. I'm just listening.
And so I think, like, just hearing that from somebody, and especially somebody of her stature, it's like saying, even regardless of what your stature or position is, hierarchy is in this social climate, if you Black, you don't matter.
Mm-hmm. And that's not right.
Mm-mm. Not.
And that's like that lady Kyra Johnson when she died in the hospital in LA, and this was her second child. And I do feel like it has to do with her husband not really speaking up for her. That's another thing. Like, when we as Black women are in certain situations, like, we need somebody to advocate for us. And I feel like Black men should be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you just got to think, what if it was your mother or your daughter or your sister? Like, you need to speak up.
Mm.
because this lady, she died. She done had her kid. Now she having another baby, and she steady saying like, "Well, I'm bleeding. This too much blood for me to be losing." And her husband, not wanting to be confrontational, didn't really say nothing to the doctors, and she died. But had he said something or been more aggressive with them, and I don't mean aggressive in a way where he's putting his hands on people, but like voicing his concerns more aggressively, then that could have saved her life.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
And it's just unfortunate. Like, even it is so much. Like, we just deal with so much. Like, we can't even be ourselves. Like, if a Black person is passionate about something, the way they express themselves can be deemed as overly aggressive. Like, it's messed up.
yeah, for
And
sure.
we experience like discrimination in so many ways. It's not even funny.
Hmm. So I really hope, like I said, I really hope that they do an in-depth investigation and just kind of look at the context clues of,
Right, because
prior to her being found.
it makes no sense.
Mm-mm.
Like, them saying that that's a suicide, to me, it makes no sense.
Yeah,
Kind of like Sandra Bland, that her committing suicide didn't make sense either. So
no, it didn't.
we need an in-depth investigation as to what really happened to this girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because y'all, I just, you hate to like say y'all be over there doing stuff like lumping people into into a certain category, but
Right.
it's just like, you know, just as well as we need Black men to take up for us, I think we need those people that are our allies as well to be
Yes, to
trying to
speak
take
up.
up for us.
We
Yeah.
definitely do. Because
Mhm.
if you want to consider yourself my friend or anything, you should be taking up for me the same way I would take up for you.
Exactly. Do you watch what is that show called with the Black boy that's a football player?
Oh, All American?
Yeah, All American. Do you watch that?
Mm-mm. I feel bad too because I've been trying. I'm like, I keep saying I'm gonna watch it, and I never watch. I only watched like the first couple of episodes. I watched some episodes of it, so I got a gist of what the show was about, but I haven't really watched it.
Okay, so I can't really break it
Uh,
down like how I want because you ain't seen it. But
mm-hmm.
there is a part in the episode where he gets shot, and when he's in, like, he's literally like gonna bleed out, I'm assuming. And
Mm-hmm.
so when he gets to the hospital, the Black nurse is like, "Hey, we need a blood transfusion. Let me get some O negative, whatever, whatever." The other nurse, I want to say she Middle Eastern descent or whatever, she's like, "No, we need to do XYZ before we can do the blood transfusion." And she's like, "Well, we," basically saying like it's not I guess a lot of blood laying around that we can just give to him. And she's like, "Well, this is the only way that we'll be able to save him right now."
Right, like it's the emergent situation. He dying.
Right. And so the doctor was saying something like basically going with the second nurse, and she was like, the Black nurse was like, "We can save this person XYZ. The level of care that we would give to somebody else, we need to be given to this patient, blah 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 blah." And
Mm-hmm.
the doctor was like, "Okay, do the blood transfusion, whatever whatever." But
Yeah, he
it's
got to
just
get
like, I guess the other nurse was saying like, "This ain't nothing but gang activity, blah 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 blah. It's just
right.
another Black person being killed." And she was like, come to find out, this is a smart kid, not involved in no gang activity, goes to a good school, has
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity to go to college on a football scholarship, like just doing something with himself. And you almost killed this kid because you didn't want to help him.
Right, because you had your own prejudice about him. You already prejudged this person. And that
Exactly.
shouldn't even matter when saving a life. Your job is to save their life, so just do your job.
Exactly. So, like, if you not black and I guess you probably hear black people talk about how, it's systemic racism or whatever, but these are things like, even though this is on TV, these are things that
That
people are
really
facing
happened.
in real life.
Yes, it's real. They didn't just pull this out of thin air. Like, this stuff that's really happening to people, to
Mm-hmm.
us, to black people.
The black people. So, if you are a friend to black people, you are an ally and you see some injustices happening, step in.
Yeah, and speak up, say something.
Yeah.
But hopefully it gets better. I mean, it seemed like people want to step up and say something, but you never know.
Yeah. I definitely think like we are moving in a better direction, but also I think that there are a lot of white people who now feel like it's okay to be vocal about their prejudices or their biases or whatever that, whatever they feel negatively towards people that are not white, people of color. And I'm not
So
saying,
why do you think that is?
well, we all, I think someone in this world has made it okay or cool to be like, we just gonna say number 45
Mm-hmm.
has made it cool to outwardly speak about his feelings on certain topics, and now I think others are feeling it's okay to be that way as well. And so
Mm-hmm.
it goes back to it's coming from the top down.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is. Um, it's just bad.
Yeah. And I
Bad.
definitely feel that as the leader of the free world, it's not your place to pick sides. It's your place to say to be mutual, you know?
Mm-hmm. To be neutral and not just not. And why are you spreading this negativity? Like, it's just crazy to me. Like, something so simple as not, if you, even if you feel this way, just don't say it. Because if you don't say it, you're not giving a voice to another person who feel the same way. And
Mm,
it works in a positive sense and in a negative sense. Like, of
yeah.
course you want more positivity, then you need to speak it, but people are speaking the negative. Like, that guy, he's speaking a negative. Like, and it's giving people the voice to say, well, yeah, I feel the same way. I do like the way black people are starting to stand up to themselves, especially with these Karens and everybody else who want to think they about to call us the N-word and we gonna be cool.
Like, nah.
It's not gonna happen over here. Like, you ain't
Mm-mm.
you gonna catch something that you don't want. So
Yeah. I definitely, now what I can say is I can appreciate the mindset that we have now as a black people being
mm-hmm.
vocal about not being mistreated,
Right.
and so in that aspect, like, yeah, say what you want, but pick the right person, because you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna get your ass handed to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
that's definitely what's gonna happen.
basically.
And I'm the type of person, I'm not recording a thing. Like, well, I don't have to record it. I'm not recording, lady. You're gonna feel what I need you to feel.
So don't run. I hope y'all don't run into Tiara, child.
I really hope they don't. But no, like, yeah, it's yeah. I'm glad that people standing up for themselves, especially us.
Hmm.
Um,
Definitely, because I feel like for so long we've had to be silent out of fear.
yeah, and just once we let go of that fear, and it's not saying that we need to be like so aggressive, but yeah, like we got to let you know, like, you're not about to do that over here.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, that's not gonna fly over here.
Hmm. And I think it needs to be understood that, as black people, we have the option to be middle class or better these days. Like, we ain't po no more.
Right. A
Y'all
lot
could
of us,
bully
we
us
have to make a
before
move.
because we didn't have nothing and didn't know nothing. But that's
Right.
not the same now.
That's not the that's not the case. And I feel like a little bit we have social media to thank for that.
Yep.
We definitely have social media to thank for that, because through social media we able to do more.
Yep. We
We
able
able
to
to
reach more
have access
people.
to more. We able to just do more.
Mhm. Yep. So, yeah. And then the last thing that I want to bring up about, the social injustices that we face, I haven't brought it up in a while, but, really talk about how it is the end of, no, it's August now. Like it is August 2nd. And them police officers still have not been brought to justice for Breonna Taylor.
Yeah. And this is, sometimes I feel like it's unfair for Breonna Taylor to be to her life for her life to be summed up in like a hashtag. But it's like, what, why? It's just like, what, we doing stuff. Like, people are protesting,
Mm-hmm.
people are, talking about this. I feel like the more we talk about it, like, it's a catch-22. It's like, it's frustrating that we even have to do all this, but
Mm.
it's helping. Every little bit counts.
Yep.
And I feel like whoever it is, that man that's supposed to be locking these police up, what is his problem? Like, I'm not understanding what your problem is, that you don't want to bring these men in and arrest them, because they blatantly murdered this girl.
Yeah. And ain't he black?
Yeah, he black on the outside, I guess. Yeah, I think he's just black on the outside. But like, come on, man. It don't matter. Like, I just feel like if this was somebody else, a different type of girl,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been an open and shut. They would have been locked up.
Yep. And I think I had even brought that up. Like I definitely feel like the things that are, and I'm gonna bring R. Kelly into this equation. Um just because I feel like, he was doing the things that he was doing to black girls. But I'm like, if there was a white girl thrown in the mix, it wouldn't have been no discussion.
I think he did. He had a Hispanic girl too.
Yeah,
But like you said, if a white girl would have got thrown in the mix,
he would have been in jail way back when the whole Aaliyah situation happened.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think, I definitely think it's one of those situations where people just don't care enough about black people. And
Mm-hmm.
this man that's taking his time with arresting these police officers or whatever, I don't know who paying you, but
Somebody paying him.
exactly, somebody paying him, and he
Somebody's
need to
paying.
get his ass up out the clouds and do something.
Or they need to hurry up. When it's time to vote, they need to get this man up out of the office.
Yep.
That's one thing they
People,
should definitely be doing while we are demanding justice for Breonna Taylor. Also, when it's time to vote, vote him up out of there.
yep, and
Because
that's the thing.
isn't that a position that you can vote for, right?
Yep.
That's what I believe. So vote him up out of there. He not doing what we need to be done.
Vote his ass up out of there. And people
And this
say,
is,
it don't what they say like shit. When they say voting don't count or
oh
whatever.
gosh,
Voting counts. It may seem like it don't count when you voting for the president, but when your local
officials,
local
local officials,
officials are getting voted into, those are the votes that's gonna count
those are the votes that count.
and make way for those presidential votes to count, because
Mm-hmm.
these are the people that are directly affecting your everyday life.
Let me tell you, I hate to hear people who adamantly talk about how they not voting, complain about systemic issues. Like, if you didn't vote, you can shut up, because your voice
Fact.
don't matter. Because you did not vote, your voice really doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that bothers me. I hate when people say like your vote don't count. Well, not voting really don't count. So
Exactly.
you don't know for a fact that your vote don't count, but if you don't vote, you know for a fact that it don't count. And what harm is it doing you to go out and vote? That's not hurting you. You're not gonna die from voting. Like,
Exactly.
it's your right, because all these Trump supporters, and I'm talking about the hick Trump supporters that are dumb as they want to be. I'm talking about they dumb. I watched on the Daily Show interview them, and these people are flat out dumb. They will outvote us because they are going to the polls and we not.
Yeah.
Because it's so many people. It's just unfortunate. Like, why would you sit up here and say that your vote don't count?
It count.
Them Trump supporters, man, they voting every chance they get for
Yep.
every single official. They voting.
And that is how he got in office, because people they went out there and they voted. So,
and they want like we want them to defund the police. We gotta vote. We have to
yep.
vote. Like,
Yep.
that's something that we have to vote. You have to vote for whoever you think is gonna help us get this stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it don't matter who you vote for. At least you went out there and did your part.
Yep.
Because not doing nothing is the worst. Like, that's just like you didn't even try. You guaranteed to fail because you didn't even try.
Yep. So definitely come November, y'all need to get out there and vote. Because that's the only way we going to get the justice that we seek, is if we get the people in these positions of power that really care.
Exactly.
So I think that is going to wrap it up for this week's Hot Cup of Cocoa. Tiara, do you have like any final words that you want to say before we get up out of here?
I mean, I don't really have anything final. Y'all can go follow me. Go follow your girl on Instagram at Tiara Judah, Tiara_Judah. And hit me up if you need your hair braided or anything.
Oh, what's your oh yeah, Tiara Judith is your hair page, right?
Yeah. Well, that's my hair page. I'm not really using it that much. Because I made it, but I'm like, I really want to just merge everything into one. So I'll be putting it back into one page, everything into one page.
Okay. Well, y'all go follow Tiara Judith at Tiara_Judith. And I'll be sure to add her handle into the show description. My final words for you guys is to get out there, vote.
Vote.
If you are an ally to Black people, I can't say enough, but really pay attention to the things that are going on. And if you see something that's wrong, speak up.
Say something. Speak up about it.
Speak up, because at the end of the day, like, as you can see, sometimes Black people just are not listened to, and if maybe it comes from someone else, it'll get hurt. So if you're an ally, be an ally. Don't be a fair weather ally.
Right.
Sometimes you want to help, sometimes you don't. Like, no, right is right and wrong is wrong.
Wrong
And
is wrong.
Say something.
And y'all know when the wrong is wrong. You all know when it's wrong. So just speak up, say something, be our support system, because we need it.
Exactly. So, I launched my t-shirt line. I'm Black 25/8, just basically saying like we Black more than 7 days a week, and we take pride in that. So go ahead, hit the website, keycanwithcocopodcast.com, get your shirt. And, if you got any Ask Coco questions, send them to me. You can DM me or send it to my email at keycanwithcocopod@gmail.com or at gmail.com. Yeah, at gmail.com. And I will respond. I will give your response on air, and whoever is a guest on the show that day will provide you a response as well. So, as always, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And next time, bye.